Welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games, where we feed our people with relatable content, and our victory condition is your satisfaction. I'm Harry, and today we have another playthrough. Today I'll be playing through this game right here, Wingspan, designed by Elizabeth Hargrave and published by Stonemaier Games. In particular, I'm going to be playing the official solo variant that comes with the game, which is a variant where the human player will go one-on-one against the Automa player. And boy, is the Automa player in this game competent. So this is what setup looks like for any game of Wingspan. Each human player gets one of their player boards, which basically represents their nature reserve, where they will be placing all the different birds that they acquire throughout the game on the board. Each player also gets these action tokens or action cubes, which are used to indicate the actions they take in each round. In subsequent rounds, we are going to have fewer of these cubes, which therefore means we'll have fewer actions. But at the same time, we will be building an engine so the actions will be more efficient and you will be able to optimize your turns. Each player also, each human player I should say, starts with a starting hand of 5 bird cards and 5 of these food tokens, one of each of the different 5 food types to start the game with. And the human player is going to start with 2 of these bonus cards, which are bonus ways of scoring at the end of the game based on accomplishing certain requirements. And they're going to choose one of them. I chose the Oologist, I think that's how you pronounce it, which gives me points if I have birds that have at least 1 egg laid on them. If I'm able to get 7 to 8 birds with at least 1 egg, I'll score 3 points. If I get 9 or more birds with 1 egg, I'll be able to score 6 points. We randomly assign one of those bonus cards to the Automa player, and they got this photographer card here, which scores them points for birds with colors in their names. If they're able to get 4 to 5 birds with color in their names, they're going to score 3 points. If they're able to get 6 or more, they're going to score 6 points. We also have this Automa deck here, which consists of 10 cards, maybe 11. There's 1 card that you do remove from the game unless you want to play a more advanced, difficult version of the Automa player, which I have removed for the purposes of this video. And we have some round scoring reminders based on the goal track. There is a goal track that comes with this game, and we randomly assign these different goal tiles into each of the 4 respective rounds that the game will last. This game takes place over the course of 4 rounds. And this is a double-sided score track. The green side is recommended for the Automa play, but you're going to score for being the one who did the most in that respective goal, right? So it's a direct competition with the Automa player for having the most. And these cards here basically say how the Automa score in each of the different type of goals that this game comes with. We also have this bird tray here that we start the game with 3 different birds available. We have the bird deck here. And we have the bird feeder dice tower. We cast the dice through this dice tower, and these are the available food tokens that players will be able to acquire throughout the game by selecting them here from the bird feeder. We set aside the food tokens and the egg tokens that players will be gaining throughout the game. And that's pretty much it as far as setup is concerned. Let's get straight to how the game is played. So first things first, the human player is going to look at their starting 5 cards, and they're going to choose which ones to keep. For each card that a human player decides to keep, they're going to have to discard one of their 5 starting food tokens. So I'm looking at the first round, and the goal for the first round, which is having the most birds in the water area on your player reserve board. And I'm looking at these cards here, and there's 2 of them that can be placed on the water area. We have the purple martin here, and we have the turkey vulture here. So I think I'm going to keep these. To place the purple martin, I am going to need 1 worm. However, for the turkey vulture, it's actually going to be for free. I don't need to use any food. So I'm wondering, I need the worm, so I'm going to set this aside. I won't need any food for the turkey vulture, so I'm thinking maybe I want to keep one of these. I think I'm going to keep the pileated or pileated woodpecker right here. And since I'm keeping 3 cards, I'm going to have to discard 3 food. So I need a worm, and you know what? I'm going to keep this cherry right here for the woodpecker. And I'm going to have to discard 3 food tokens because I'm keeping 3 bird cards. So we are done with that. And now we'll proceed to the first turn, the first round for the human player. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab one of these action cubes and place it to signal which action we're going to take. And there's 4 actions to choose from. And here are the 4 actions you have to choose from. You could either play a bird by paying its food costs, and depending on what column it is on the player board, you might have to also pay an additional egg cost. You could also gain food from the bird feeder here. You can also lay eggs on cards as long as you have capacity on those cards for those eggs you are laying. And finally, you could draw bird cards from either the bird tray right here, or if you're not interested in that, you can take the top card from the deck. Now, with all of these actions, as the game progresses and you start placing bird cards on these sections, you're going to work your way from left to right. As you move rightward in placing your bird cards, when you trigger the rounds or you trigger the actions that correspond with the row that you place those cards on, you're going to increase the value of those actions by placing those bird cards there. So again, your engine begins to rev up and you will become very, very efficient. So for my first turn, I think I'm going to start by placing this. You know what? I'm actually going to gain some food because I need another worm, and I do not want to take the chance that the Automa player does something to affect what I have here. So I'm going to grab this worm, and I could only grab one right now. So I place this here, I slide it to the left to show that I'm done, and I will set this die aside, take it out of the bird feeder, and I will get its corresponding food token, a worm. And there we go, and I'm done. Now for the Automa player's turn, I am going to reveal the top card here on the deck. And they have a bunch of actions here on these Automa cards. You look at the action that you're currently in, or the round that you're currently in. We're in round 1. And here we go. So they've got this right here, which this die symbol means we're going to look at the bird feeder. First of all, we're going to resolve whether or not there is only one type of food in the bird feeder. That's not the case, so we move on. Then we're going to look at this key right here, and we're going to work our way from left to right, and we're going to find the first a food type that is available here in the bird feeder, and we're going to remove it from the bird feeder. So the first thing we see here is a worm/grain die. There is no such die in the bird feeder, so we'll ignore that. The next thing we have here is a worm. So we're going to actually remove all worm dice that are found in the bird feeder, and there's only one because thankfully I had the wisdom to go and get that worm before it was removed. So I'm very happy that I did that. So that's all as far as this is concerned, but we also have this additional text here. It says activate all pink powers. In this game of Wingspan, we have a bunch of different types of birds. Some of them come with brown when activated abilities, which means every time you use an action from the row on which that bird finds itself, you're going to trigger all of the brown when activated actions that are found on that row. However, with the pink actions, usually in a multiplayer game, those are actions that are triggered on other players' turns when certain things happen or when the players so choose. However, in the Automa play or in the solo play, we only trigger the pink actions whenever a card that the Automa player draws indicates that those pink actions are triggered. But right now there are no cards on the player board, so we will disregard that. And we are done with the Automa player's turn. Now we will move on to the human player's turn. And now they've got some things that they can do. So first things first, we're going to play a bird. So I'm going to place this here, indicating that I'm trying to play a bird somewhere on the first column of the board. And I'm going to play the pileated woodpecker. And because it's on the first row, it's going to cost me no eggs, but I do have to pay its food cost, which is a worm and a cherry. So I will place this right here, and I will play the worm and the cherry. So we are done with that. And now I will slide this cube over here to indicate that I am done with my turn. So now we're going to move on to the Automa player's next turn. We're going to reveal the top card here. And we have this symbol here, this card symbol here. And what that indicates is that the Automa player is going to discard all 3 birds that are on the bird tray. And then they're going to draw the top card from the draw deck and place it face down in their player area. Now, the Automa has two types of cards in their player area. They have face down cards, which are going to score them a certain amount of points, a fixed amount of points per each face down card they have at the end of the game. If you're playing on easy, you will be scoring 3 points for each face down card that the Automa player has. You can increase the difficulty by raising the score to 4 or even 5 points per face down card. The other type of cards that the Automa player will have are their face up cards. And the face up cards are very self-explanatory. Every face up card is going to score them the actual face value, the printed score value that's found on those bird cards. But in this case, they drew a face down card. And now, this card here also indicates that they get to place one of their action cubes on the current round's goal tile right here. So again, the goal for this round is to have the most birds in the water area. How does the Automa player accomplish this if they have no board? Well, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, this game has these particular round indicators that tells us that in round 1, the Automa will score a certain amount of points based on what type of goals we're dealing with here. Right now, this current goal is the most birds in the water area. So right here it tells us that for any goal that's related to the most birds in a particular area, they have a base value of 0 points towards that goal, plus the additional amount of points based on each cube that is on the current goals tile. So in this case, they have 0 here, but they do have 1 cube on the current goals tile. So that means that they have 1 towards this particular goal or objective. So that they just finished tying me because I also have 1.
No, you don't, you idiot. Learn the rules.
1. So the dummy player is done with their turn. At the end of the turn, we replenish the bird tray here with any empty slots, filling them up with new cards. And now the human player will take their next turn. So now let's see. I really want to contend for this because whoever gets first place in this goal is going to get 4 points, while whoever gets second place will only get 1. So I'm looking here. I've got 2 birds that I can build here. But here's the thing. While this bird is for free as far as food is concerned, and this bird is very economical as far as food, only a worm, at the same time, whatever bird I place next in the water area is also going to cost me 1 egg, because I got to look at the column in which I'm placing it on, and if it has an egg icon there, that means I also have to pay eggs or an egg to place this card. So let's see what I want to do. I think I'm going to place an action right here to gain me 2 eggs, right? So because this entire row is empty, I look at this leftmost empty space, and whatever that space indicates, I have to resolve. So in this case, it'll be 2 eggs. So I'm going to grab 2 egg tokens here, and the egg tokens are nice and colorful. They come in many different shades. However, they're all treated equal. They all just equal 1 egg and count as points for you at the end of the game. Now I'm going to slide this cube over here to indicate that I am done with my turn. Now the Automa player will proceed to their next turn. And first of all, we have this symbol right here, which means they're going to draw or gain eggs equal to the amount of icons on the card. And there's just 1, so they're going to grab this 1 egg. And this cube here means that they're going to place another cube onto the current round's goal tile. So they have now 2 towards the goal, and I only have 1.
How many times I gotta tell you? No, you don't.
1. Okay, so the Automa player is done with their turn. Okay, now it's my turn here, and I'm going to play a bird. So I'm going to place this cube right here, indicating that I'm placing a bird on this column. It's going to cost me 1 egg, so I'll take one of the eggs from here, and I'll place it right there. And I'm going to place this turkey vulture here. Actually, no. I'm going to play this purple martin here, and its food cost is 1 worm. So I'll discard that worm, and I'll place this card right here in the water area, and at least keep myself tied with the Automa player in that regard. And now I will slide this cube all the way to the left, indicating that I'm done with my turn. Okay, now the Automa player will go again, and they're going to gain another egg. So let's grab an egg over here, place it in their player area, and they are done with their turn. Now it's my turn, and I think I want to draw some cards. So I'm going to place this cube right here, And because I have these 2 slots occupied, and this is the leftmost empty slot, this tells me that when I play the draw bird cards action, I'm going to get to draw 2 cards instead of 1. So again, I can choose from among the bird cards that are found in the bird tray, or I can choose to take a card from the top of the deck. And I'm looking at this Clark's Grebe here, and this is great because it's going to give me 5 points, and it can be played in, it has to be played in the water area, which is exactly what I'm contending for right now. So I'm going to grab this. It needs a fish, and there is fish in the bird feeder, so there's a very good chance I'll be able to get this. And for my second card, I'm going to grab this fish crow. It's very valuable. It gives me 6 victory points. Also, it's very versatile because it can be played in any of the 3 areas or the 3 spheres that are found on a player's nature reserve. So I will draw that. Okay, now I am going to move this to the left, and I'm going to start triggering these brown when activated abilities. So first of all, for the purple martin, it says I get to tuck a card from my hand behind this bird, and if I do, I draw a card. So I'm going to tuck this card here, the turkey vulture. I'm no longer interested in it. I'm going to tuck it right there, and this allows me to draw a card. So I'll draw the top card from the deck, and I got this Carolina chickadee, which isn't too valuable, but hey, you never know. All right, so we're done right there. And now I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to trigger the brown when activated ability of this pileated or pileated woodpecker. And it says all players lay 1 egg on any 1 bird, and it has the symbol here of the particular type of birds. It's birds that have the symbol type of the pileated woodpecker itself. And guess what? First of all, I'll be able to place an egg on the woodpecker, but this purple martin here is actually of the same type of bird as well, so I'll get to play another egg on it too. So that's great. It's going to generate my egg economy and keep it flowing. So we're done with that. We'll slide this cube all the way to the left, indicating I am done with my turn. We're going to replace or refill these empty slots here in the bird tray, and then we'll proceed to the Automa player's next turn. Here we go. So first of all, they've got this symbol right here, which indicates the card symbol, that they're going to discard the 3 cards in the bird tray. And then they're going to draw the top card here and place it in their player area face down. Again, that's going to count as 3 victory points for them at the end of the game. Also, it says here, remove 1 cube from the current round's gold tile. So this is really good news for me, the human player, because now they only have 1 point towards that goal or that objective, and now I currently have 2, so I have the edge for the time being. Okay, and we're done with that. Now we're going to replace and refill these empty slots here in the bird tray. Okay, and now the human player will proceed, and I want to be able to get this Clark's Grebe in the water area, and it needs a fish to do so. So I'm going to choose gain food. And again, I go to the leftmost empty slot here. So far, I have nothing there, which means I had to get 1 food from the the bird feeder. And I'm going to grab this fish that's available there, take it out of the bird feeder dice tray, grab the corresponding token. I slide my cube over here. My turn is over. And the Automa player will go again. We'll reveal the top card here. And again, they're going to look at the bird feeder here. And going from the left, working its way to the right, on the key right here, they're going to find the first symbol that's available there. First we have mice. There's no mice there. Then we have fish. Luckily for me, I just took the fish. I always seem to do that just in the nick of time. And then we have cherry, so we'll remove the cherry from the bird feeder. And then we have this card here which says activate all pink powers, which again, I still don't have any card on the table that has any pink powers. So we are done with the Automa player's turn. We'll move on to the human player's turn, and I only have 2 actions left, so let me make them count. So I'm going to choose to play a bird, and I'm trying to play a bird on this column, so I indicate it by placing this cube here. And again, I need 1 egg, so I'm going to discard 1 egg. And then I got to play the bird's food cost, which in this case is just 1 fish token. I'll discard that there. and I'll place this Clark's Greaves just right here, just in case the Automa player gets a couple more points towards this goal. So we are done with that. We'll slide this over here, and now we'll move on to the Automa player's turn yet again. And here we go. So first of all, if you look here, you see that the bottom of this card says remove after round 1. Some of these cards, they indicate that they must be removed after the current round. In this case, this will be removed after this round, so I will set it aside when I am done here. So again, we're going to look at the bird feeder, and the first thing we do when we have this type of card is we see if there's only one type of food in the bird feeder, which is the case. Not only is there one type, there's only one die. And if that's the case, we re-roll all the dice in the bird feeder to give us more options again. All right, and now we look at this key. We work from the left to the right. We're looking for mice. There are none. We're looking for fish, and there are fish. There's 3, as a matter of fact. We're going to remove all the fish from this bird feeder right there. And now we are done with that. Oh no, the Automa player will place one more cube onto the current round's goal tile, which is good that I was able to get myself up to 3 because now they are up to 2. So we are done with the Automa player's turn, and the human player has one last action cube for this current round. Let's see what we're going to do here. Do I want to set myself up for the future round? Do I want to get some food? Yeah, I'm going to choose to draw some cards. I see this golden eagle here, which is a really valuable card. And I want to get it because at the end of the round, no matter what happens, you have to discard all the cards in the bird tray and replace them. So that card's going to go away soon. So I am going to go over here. And because I have all these spots filled, I get to draw 2 cards. And if I so choose, I could discard 1 egg in order to draw a 3rd card. And I think I am going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I got 2 cards that I get to draw for free. I'm going to get the golden eagle here. And I'm going to get the Ferunginous hawk here, which is also a very valuable card. And I'm going to pay 1 egg to get a 3rd card. But I'm not going to get the white-breasted nuthatch here. I'm not interested in it. Instead, I'm going to grab the top card from the deck. And I drew the American White Pelican. Okay, so I've got some very valuable cards in my possession. Now I'm going to slide this cube to the left, and I'm going to start triggering all these brown when activated abilities. So first and foremost, the Clark's Greaves says when activated, draw 1 card, and if you do, discard 1 card from your hand at the end of your turn. So I'm going to draw 1 card right here. And I drew the Great Crested Flycatcher, which I'm pretty sure that I'm going to start discarding this Carolina Chickadee here because I'm not too interested in it. So let's set that aside for now. Now we're going to move this over here. We're going to trigger the Purple Martin here. It says tuck a card from your hand with this bird. If you do, you draw 1 card. You know, you could always choose to not activate cards, to not activate actions. So I'm going to choose to bypass this for now. And the Pileated Woodpecker here, it tells us all players lay 1 egg on a bird of this type. But you, the player who owns this card, gets to lay an additional egg on a bird of that type. So that's why I was able to, I did do it wrong earlier, or at least I explained it wrong earlier. But yes, I'm able to place 2 eggs on birds of that type, while other players would only be able to do 1. By the way, with the brown when activated abilities, when it comes to the Automa player, you totally ignore it. It does not apply to the Automa player at all. So I'm going to grab 2 egg tokens over here. And the woodpecker here only has a capacity of 2, so I'll only be able to put 1 more. And the Purple Martin, I'll put 1 here. So we'll slide this cube over here to indicate we're done with the human player's last turn for this round. And we will replace the empty slots here on the bird tray. And then the Automa will get their last turn for the round. And basically, we have this bird symbol here, which means we're going to look at the cards available in the bird tray. And any card that applies to the the bonus card of the Automa player, they're going to grab those cards, and among those cards, they're going to choose the one with the highest value. So again, the Automa player is the photographer. We're looking for birds that have colors in their names. The only one here that has color in their name is the white-breasted nuthatch, and therefore it is the most valuable one. And what's going to happen is with these cards, they actually keep it in their player area face up. All right, and we are done with that. And we are done with the first round, and what actually happens is we clear the remainder of these cards here and we refill the empty slots with new cards. Also, we go to the goal track here and we see who finished first and second and third, and respectively, depending on the player count. And in this case, the Automa player has 2 cubes, a baseline of 0 points for this type of goal, so they have 2 towards the goal. But me, because I have 3 birds in the water area, I have 3 towards the goal, which means I will be first place in this goal. The Automa player is going to be second place in this goal. So you place a cube, you commit one of your cubes to the first or second place section on the goal track, and that means you actually have 1 less action cube and therefore 1 less action going into the second round. Okay, so we are done with that. We are going to proceed to the second round, and now the goal for the second round is just to have the most birds total. So for this round, we're going to look at these end of round goal cards. We're going to switch this over to round 2, and we're going to look for the type of goal. And the type of goal here is total birds. So the Automa player has a base value of 5 towards this type of goal. On top of that, any cubes that go on top of the goal tile will be added to their number. So that's something to consider. They're going to be quite the challenge in this round, because they already have 5 towards the goal and I only have 3. So let's see what we want to do here with the 7 actions. We've got lots of cards to pick from, but what we need now is we need some food. Okay, so I'm going to start getting some food and see what I could do as far as getting birds into the forest here, because it'll increase the amount of food I can get in the future. So I'm going to try to gain some food here. The great crested flycatcher here needs a worm and some cherry. There is a worm in the bird feeder, so I will grab that. Grab the corresponding token here, slide this cube, and I'm done with my turn. The Automa player here is going to go here. And now we're looking at the round 2 actions on these cards. We're disregarding round 1. And in this case, we have that card symbol, which again means we discard the 3 cards in the bird tray, and we draw the top card from the deck and place it face down in the Automa player's area. Now we replace these empty slots here on the bird tray with new cards, and the human player will proceed with their turn. So I want to try to gain some food and hopefully gain some cherries. So I'm going to place another cube on the gain food section, and because there is only 1 type of food in the bird tray, not only 1 type, only 1 die period, we get to re-roll all the dice and hopefully give us some options. And I did not roll any cherries, which I really wanted, but you know what? I rolled tons of mice, and I could use some mice as well. So I think I am going to grab this right here, grab a mice token right here. We're done with that. Let's send this away. Now the Automa player will go, and this is a card that's removed after round 2. And here it says, again, the card symbol. So we're going to discard these 3 cards from the bird tray. And now we're going to draw the top card and put it face down. Also, we are going to place a cube, an action cube, on the current round's goal tile. So that's 1 more towards that goal for the Automa player. And then we will replace these cards right here. And now it's the human player's turn. And let's see what we want to do here. I think I am going to try to get even more food. I'm ever so surely going to get there. I'm going to get 1, and I'm going to get the mouse again. So let me get this mouse token here. And that is it for the human player's turn. And now we're going to go back to the Automa player's turn. And we've shuffled the deck for the Automa player. Let's play the top card here. And again, we have this card here. It does say to remove after round 2, but we're still currently in round 2. So we're going to discard these 3 cards right here and draw the top card here and give it to them. And again, it tells us to play a cube on the current round's goal tile. So it doesn't look like I have much of a chance of beating them because they're currently at 7 towards the goal and I'm only at 3 with 4 actions left to play. So I'm not even going to focus too much on that. Instead, I'm going to see what I can do here. And I think I'm going to play a bird, in particular on this column, in this area here, the fields. And I am going to play this ferruginous hawk here, which is going to cost me 2 mice, which I happen to have 2 mice tokens, and I'll discard those there. I forgot to refill this right here. Not that I was going to draw any cards anyhow. And now I'm done with my turn, and we'll slide this cube over here, and we'll proceed to the Automa player's next turn here. And right here for round 2, we've had this bird symbol again. We're going to look at the birds that are available, see how many of them correspond with the bonus card of the Automa player, which again, we're looking for colors. There's only one right here, which is the red-winged blackbird. And we will place this card in their player area face up. And now the Automa player is done with their turn. We will replace this card over here. And now it's the human player's turn again. And I'm going to choose to lay eggs on birds. So I could place 2 eggs. And if I want to, here it tells me that if I discard any 1 food token, I'll be able to place a 3rd egg. I think I'm going to keep my food for now because food is scarce. And I'm going to grab 2 of these eggs. And where do I want to place them? These birds are going to be producing eggs every time certain actions are triggered anyways. So instead, I'm going to place it here and here. And remember, I do have the condition here, the zoologist, that for each bird, if I get a certain amount of birds that have at least 1 egg on them, I'll score bonus points. So there's that. Now, I'm going to trigger this brown when activated ability here. And it says, roll all dice not in the bird feeder. If any are mice, gain 1 mice and catch it on this card. That's really cool. So there's 2 dice that are not in the bird feeder. We're going to throw them there. So there are mice. So I'm going to discard this and gain one mice. And I'm going to put it right here on this card. And catched items, whether they be tokens or cards, they score you points at the end of the game as well. So we are done with the human player's turn. We're going to move on to the Automa player's turn. And we're going to draw this card. And they're going to get 2 eggs. There's 2 egg icons on this card. We're going to grab 2 eggs here and place it in the player area here of the Automa player. And also, it tells us here that we remove 1 cube from the current round's goal tile. So that's really good news for me. But at the same time, I only have 4 birds. They're currently at 6 towards the goal. Very unlikely that with 2 actions, there's anything I'll be able to do about it. Okay, so we will proceed with the human player's next turn here. And it's just so tough, folks. There is not much I could do. I feel like running through that food just so that I can hopefully get better food in the future. So I'm going to choose the gain food action yet again. And I am going to choose to get some more mice here because they will be valuable to me later on. And now we'll move on to the Automa player's turn. Let's draw the top card right here. And we have this card symbol right here, which again indicates that all 3 of these cards will be removed from the game. And instead, we're going to draw the top card of the deck and place it face down on top of the face down stack of the Automa player. We'll discard this. Now we will replace all these empty slots here in the bird tray. And it's the human player's turn once again, and it's my last cube and last action for this current round. And there are no birds that I can afford. I went with costly birds that are very valuable in victory point tokens. At the same time, I did not have their food costs, and therefore I was not going to be able to place them. So it was poor strategy on my part. So I will place a cube right here and just gain 1 more mice token here. so that hopefully going into round 3, I'll have the necessary resources to play my birds. And then finally, the last action for the Automa player on this round, we've got this die cube thing here. We've got this die symbol here. And we're going to look here, and if there's only one type, there isn't one type. We're going to work our way from left to right. There's no cherries, there's no mice, there's no fish. Is there a worm and or grain? Yes, there is. So we'll remove that from the tray. And then finally, we activate all pink powers, which again, there are none on my board. And we are done with round 2. We would clear these cards here no matter what and then replace them. We're also going to go to the goal track here and see. And again, the Automa player has a base value of 5 for goals relating to total amounts of birds, plus any cubes that they have on the current round's goal tile is added to that value. So they have 6 towards the goal, while me, I only have 4 birds in total. Therefore, the Automa player is first in this goal, and I am second. And again, we each commit 1 cube towards the goal track, which means we have 1 fewer cube heading into round 3. And this is pretty much the way the game plays. We would play a 3rd and then a 4th round. And again, with each subsequent round, we have 1 less action cube and therefore 1 less turn or less action to take. But your engine starts to rev up and you start building momentum, and the things you're able to do and to execute are more efficient, right? Doesn't look so much like the case with my board, but that's a matter of making some bad decisions. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for the face value or the printed value of victory points on each of your bird cards. You're also going to score points for each of your eggs that you have on birds. Catched items also score you points, and you score points for accomplishing your bonus card and according to the level in which you accomplished it. For the Automa player, similar scoring, except we have 2 separate stacks, which I mentioned earlier. One which is face up, which will score them points at the printed value on the card, and the other stack is face down, and it will score them a predetermined amount of points per card depending on the difficulty level. Right now I'm playing on easy, so each of these would score them 3 victory points. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is your winner. If you want to, you can adjust the difficulty level by again increasing the base value of these face down cards. Also, if you're interested in a more challenging game, you could add this Automa Society card to the Automa deck as an 11th card, and it will make the game more challenging. And that's it for today's playthrough, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at When Harry Met Board Games. Please consider watching one of the videos that you see on the screen right now. Also, check in the description down below for a link to our Patreon account and see how you can support this channel and become more involved with the behind-the-scenes process. Research and find a tier that works for you. This is Harry saying take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun gaming. Bye-bye.